Grab the mic. Judson, we were hanging out yesterday because you were getting ready to pace Cade. So what's your weekend been like?
It's been pretty hectic. I came from Brooks.
You lost your luggage, right?
Yeah, I lost my luggage, didn't have that for a week, and I found a way to PR down there. And then I had to come here. I think I did okay. Cade said I did okay in the pacing, and it was pretty easy. But this morning I woke up a little sore, which is unexpected, but I tried my best in the 4, and it was a little windy on the backstretch. So.
Is that tough for you to, you ran 47.2 today.
Right.
Yesterday you had to run a 50 point.
Right.
Is that hard to, in your mind, be like, all right, I have to dial it back just a little bit? It's like so close to being, all out, but not all out in the 800, right? Like, have you experienced that before?
It was hard training for it because I was trying to do even splits, and that didn't work out good at all. So I wanted to have a little bit of momentum going into it, but it was easier in the meet because I did adrenaline and all that. And I knew running a 46, I think a 50 or a 51 should be easy enough.
I saw you hanging out with Cade yesterday, and it was cool because you were dialed in. You're like, whatever this guy needs, I'm gonna step up and do my job to hopefully get him to the record. And we asked him sort of oh, the two of you guys, were you guys friends before this weekend? He was like, no. He's like, he just reached out to me on Instagram and said, I'm gonna be your pacer. And he says, all right, let's get it done. And so for you, I guess, to put yourself out there and as take on this job, I mean, how did you feel coming into the weekend? It was like, I could be a part of history.
Right. I was pretty nervous because I didn't want to mess anything up. Yeah. And looking at his Instagram, he's pretty pretty rough. So I didn't. And when he was mad at the end, I thought he was mad at me, but he was mad at this other guy that was trying to run with him. But I just didn't want to mess anything up. And before the race, I usually tell myself you can win this, whatever. But it was kind of different. I was like, just do your job and whatever, step off the track and don't get in his way.
It was very sort of hands off. I watched the warm up and everything, and it's both you doing your totally different but similar things as well. But then not as much chit chat or anything like that. It was just sort of we're in the zone. It's you agreed to whatever the pace is going to be, and it's all right, now let's get this thing done.
Right. Yeah. I didn't want to mess up his zone too because I know he's trying to break a record. And I usually don't really talk too much before the race. So I just didn't want to mess him up, and I just want to stay in my zone too, make sure I didn't mess anything up.
So I assume that you don't run that many 800s.
Nah.
But now, you've lined up in one. I know you didn't finish.
Right.
Do we see a future of maybe you staying in?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
No.
I like my 200s a little bit too much. And I'd probably have to run a 149, and I don't think that's happening anytime soon. So.
Could you share with the people who have tuned in just a little bit more background on your training, where you're from, and how this whole season to get to this point turned out for you?
Well, I'm from Columbia, Maryland.
Okay.
So freshman year, I wasn't really the fastest kid. I've never been really the fastest kid. I didn't make it to States my freshman year, and really since I dropped basketball my junior year, everything has been going on an upward trajectory, and I was never really recruited too highly. And once I committed for VT, I was 48 kid, 21, nothing too special. But I knew that once I dropped basketball, that my times would drop and that it would show finally. And I ran a 46 indoors, which is surprising to a lot of people. And ran a 20 point recently. I got 4 gold medals at the state meet, but just staying patient that whole time and still being the underdog, nobody really knowing me. It means a lot to be where I'm at now because it means more to me. I've never been the fast kid.
So you said VT next year. What are you excited about that transition? Coming here, you won national title.
Right.
They're really good in NCAA. What are you thinking about making that jump?
Well, obviously, I want to make it to nationals the first year. That's for individual. I think that would be the big goal. And then try to drop my time, do whatever there. But I think the coaches, the facilities, it's going to be a good spot for me. And coming from the ACC, VT, you see all these SEC schools, maybe Pac-12, whatever. But I'll try to make some noise for the ACC.
So this week, I mean, from going from Seattle all the way over here, you losing your luggage, did you get near? I mean, or did you lose your luggage out there?
I lost my luggage going to Seattle.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so you just had to get there and run with whatever they gave.
Yeah.
And then come out here.
I had my spikes, but it was like
That's
they had to.
Always put the spikes in the carry-on.
They had to give me like some shirts, and then I called the guy because I needed some shorts, and then he was like, "Oh, you're gonna have to like deal with what you have," and I was like, "I'm not wearing compression shorts to the boat cruise." So 10 in the morning, I like sneak out past all these people in the hotel, go to Target, and come back and get like these $10 shorts. And then wear those to the boat cruise. It wasn't too swaggy, but then I had to run later. But I think I had to do what I had to do. So.
It's the blue collar high school runner already.
So you're sitting next to an Olympian, a world championship medalist. You know, you have an opportunity to ask her anything, because I assume you want to be in that chair
Right,
one
course,
day
yeah,
yourself. Any questions for her? You know, Brenda, wealth of knowledge here to tap into.
Well, okay. Obviously, like after high school, there's like you have your high school like legends, but sometimes like they'll drop off in college. Like I don't know what happens, but how would you like keep your momentum going so you don't mess yourself up?
I mean, VT is a really good program. I think they're going to be super careful with development. So I think you already made the right decision. But I always tell athletes, just put all your trust in the coach.
Right.
Even when it's not going right, you have to trust it even more. That's just part of running. Like, it goes up and down, and you just stay in that corner with everyone, and they're going to take care of you. And again, just trust it. So you'll be fine.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. Like, a lot of, you know, high school seniors have had a relatively easy career. You know, it's very easy to get better every single year as you're growing, you know, and then all of a sudden in college, you might have a year, season where it doesn't go perfectly.
Yeah.
And it's like, how do you respond to that is kind of the, like,
Although-
the trademark of who's going
Yeah.
to make it and who's not.
Although, like, your high school career was disrupted by COVID.
Yeah.
During the COVID sort of like lockdown period where everyone was just, I mean, you weren't going into school, how much was it track? And at the same time, you were still doing basketball at that time, right?
Yeah, I was doing basketball here and there, and then I got hurt before my junior year, so I had to deal with that a little bit. But it kind of like ended my basketball season, so I tried to run indoor. So then I got hurt, and then during the outdoor season, my times weren't really the best, and it was like coming towards the later, I was running like 48.3, and I mean that's like AAU and summer track is where you get your times. But then I had to fulfill my basketball dreams for the summer, and it wasn't really the same after that. So that's kind of what made my recruitment a little slower. But I was still working out, especially when COVID started. Went down to Satellite Beach my sophomore year, raced Arian Knighton, got smoked. But I think it was a good experience just to be out there and keep running.
What's the plan for the rest of the season now? Are you done, or are you going to go out to Eugene?
I'm going to AAU just to get my 200 time down, because that's been a rough spot all year. Because I've got a 46.2. I wanted a 45, but that's pretty good. And then I wanted to get like 20.7. I'm stuck at like 20.9. I was at 21.2 all year, so just trying to get that down.
Do you have a preference between the 2 and the 4?
I mean, 2s they're always easier.
Yeah.
But I think 4 is like where my main strength is at. But it's just a little bit more mentally taxing than any other event.
It's like asking high school runners this. Are you a track fan? Like, do you watch?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. And it might be a little weird. I think other people do it too. But if you're in my heat, I check you on mile split really quick and make sure I know who my competition is and how you run the race and all that.
And then do you watch like the NCAA meet?
Yeah,
you
of
watch
course.
the pros?
Yeah.
Who's your favorite out there?
My favorite runner is Fred Curley.
That's
and
a great
he
one.
switched
Good
to the
choice.
1 and 2, which is kind of surprising. But I love Fred Curley. And then I would say I like Sidney McLaughlin, obviously.
Yeah.
And then maybe a 100-meter runner. I really like Jacobs from Italy. He just came out of nowhere. It's kind of like the same thing. He's been an underdog, and he just came out of nowhere and won the Olympics. So.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome. We love hearing that, like, the next generation of track fans or just of track stars are already like big fans of the sport, and so
To those at home, it's pretty consistent. If you want to be in that chair with
Yeah.
the national championship medal around your neck, you got to follow the sport.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Judson, we appreciate you taking the time
Yeah,
for this.
thank
This was a blast. You're done for the weekend, right?
Yeah, I'm done. Finally.
Nice.
Go put the legs out.
Yeah. Finally get to
Yeah.
rest. Well,
Yeah.
thanks so much for joining
Yeah,
us.
thank you. Appreciate
Yeah,
it.
good luck
Appreciate
with
it.
everything.
All right.
Good job. Good luck at BT too.
Nice meeting you.
Yeah, enjoy
Take
it.
care. Oh,
Oh.
nice.